everybody, it's Cassie Easley, your constitutional choice for Congressional District 3 right here in Utah. Today I'm going to talk to you about some definitions. I've always told my kids that words are important. They are so important that we need to know the definitions so that we're using them properly. So I'm going to use the two main words that we have for our political parties, and then I'm going to add in what I think should be added. So first of all, I have my cards because I don't want to mess up definitions. I want to actually have the definition that is in the 1828 dictionary. That's the one that I use. It's a Webster dictionary, and Daniel Webster was at the Constitutional Convention. So he knows what the words meant, and that was the first dictionary that they put out there. So the first word is conservative. So a conservative is a person with a political belief supporting established institutions and customs and preferring gradual development to sudden change. I look at it like this. When you conserve water, you're still using it, but you're using less. You don't want things to change. You don't want to use like all this water that you don't need. You just want to make sure that you have some for later. It's changes slowly. You conserve things. That's a good thing, usually. Let's move on to the liberal from the 1828 dictionary. The base definition is of a free heart, free to give or bestow, bountiful, generous, giving largely, as in a liberal donation. So that doesn't sound like what we have the liberals describing themselves as. So I looked further. This was the closest I could find in the 1828 dictionary. Free, not literal or strict, as a liberal construction of the law. That means you don't have to adhere strictly to the law. You just have to kind of do that. Not a literal sense of the law. I don't like that one. So I looked up a more modern definition of what a political liberal is. And this was in also Webster's, but a more current edition. And it says that liberals are inclined to be open to ideas and ways of behaving that are not conventional or traditional, just the opposite of a conservative. But I found another definition that I think describes kind of what the liberals are actually doing. And I like this definition for the government. It's a system in which goods are owned in common and are available to all as needed. And this is kind of what the current liberals' ideology is. I know this because I go to college with a lot of them. And I think that that's what they think that being a Democrat is. Being a liberal is having goods that are owned in common and available for all as we need them, that everybody should have access to everything. The thing is that is the definition for communism, which we are not a communist country. But most of the liberals are tending towards that in the United States today. So since neither of those describe what I believe, and I'm called a conservative all the time, a constitutional conservative to be exact, I thought I'd try to find a word that better describes what I am, and it's not either of those two because it really irritates me when people try to put a label on me. So I'm picking my own label. Now, I'm not going to tell you the word yet, but the definition is something that tends to secure a person or thing in a sound state or prevent it from injury, destruction, or decay, defending it from evil. And I feel like that's what I'm doing for the Constitution. I'm trying to keep it in a sound state. I'm trying to prevent people from changing it. I don't want it destroyed, and we are defending it from the evil that is happening in our country. That is a preservative. Now, let's use an analogy on what is a preservative. If you live in the 3rd District of Utah, you are a rural group of people. So when I talk about canning or bottling, when you get your vegetables out of the garden or your fruits off your trees, we preserve them. We put them in jars, we save them, and they are just as good today as they are 10 years from now We've preserved it. We have saved it. It is not being destroyed. It is not spoiling. And we need to do that for the Constitution. We need to preserve it. We need to preserve the Constitution for our grandchildren, for our children, for the people that come after us. We need to preserve the Constitution. So I guess that makes me a preservative. Are you? Have a good day.